Hello students, I hope you are all doing well. Today we are going to learn chapter 3, Fibre to Fabric. In our previous classes, we learned that fibers are of two types, man-made fiber and natural fiber. Examples of man-made fiber are nylon, polyester and rayon. We learned that natural fibers are threads obtained from plants and animals. We also learned that plant fibers are obtained from cotton plant and jute plant. Today we are going to learn about animal fiber, and examples of animal fiber are wool and
silk.
animal fibers. Wool. Wool is obtained from fleece of sheep, goat, yak and some other animals. These animals bear hairs on their body made up of protein. Hairs of wool yielding animals trap a lot of air, as air is a poor conductor of heat. So hairs keep these animals warm by shielding their body from cold during winter. Wool is most commonly obtained from sheep. In the next video, we are going to learn about rearing and
Breeding.
Rearing and breeding of sheep. Raising of sheep for obtaining wool, meat, milk, skins and manure is called sheep farming or sheep rearing. People who rear sheep are called shepherds. Sheep have cover of hairs on its body. It is called fleece or fur. We obtain wool from fleece of the sheep. Sheep are herbivorous. They feed on grass. Shepherds take their sheep for grazing. They also feed mixtures of pulses, jawar, oil cakes and minerals to sheep. When winter starts, sheep are kept inside the shelter. Here, shepherd give them leaves, grain and dry fodder to eat. The advantages of sheep rearing are: sheep are strong animal and can live in much more severe environment. Therefore, they need little care and management. In addition, they need little space for living. So, many sheep can be kept in small area. They provide various products which provide very good income within short time. They help farmers by eating unwanted plants in the farm. Here are some of the breeds in India along with their quality and states where they are found. Moreover, if we select parent having special characteristics, then it is possible to produce a sheep having those characteristics. This is called selective breeding. With the help of selective breeding, it is possible to produce sheep which provide good quality wool. Sheep rearing requires the provision of facilities such as plenty of clean and fresh water, availability of green foods such as grass, provision of medication facility as well as transportation and marketing facilities. So, sheep rearing is done in the areas where these facilities are available. In India, sheep rearing is done mainly in the hilly areas of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Sheep rearing is also done in plains of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat.
the fleece of sheep consists of two types of fiber. The first one is the coarse beard hair and the second one is the fine and soft underhair, hair that grows close to the skin. These underhairs are used for making
Wool.
From the video, we learned that for obtaining wool, sheep are reared. Their hair is cut and processed into wool. The process of rearing the sheep is to provide them food, shelter and health care. The person who look after sheep are called shepherds. Certain breeds of sheep have thick coat of hair on their body which yields good quality wool in large quantities. This process of selecting parents for obtaining special characters in their offsprings, such as soft underhairs in sheep, is called selective breeding.
Selective breeding.
Processing fiber into wool. We cannot use fibers obtained from sheep directly for making sweaters, shawls, and many other things. Instead, these are processed in stepwise manner. Here, in this lesson, we will learn how fibers are processed into wool. The first step is shearing. The layer of hairs around the sheep body is called fleece. Shearing is the process of removing fleece and the thin layer of skin from the sheep body. For this process, tools similar to those used by barbers are used. The outer skin of animal body is dead, so shearing does not harm the sheep. However, this process must be done during hot weather. The reason is simple. If shearing is done in winter, then the cold climate could harm the sheep since the protective layer is not present. However, in hot weather, they can remain safe even if there is no protective layer. After shearing, the skin rebuilds in some days and the hair starts growing again. Shearing provides fibers. After shearing, the next step is scouring. The hairs, that is fibers, obtained from shearing contains dirt such as grease and dust. It must be removed before further processing. Thus, the sheared skin along with hairs is washed thoroughly to remove dirt. It is called scouring. It is done by hand or by machines. It is then dried and sent to factory. Scouring provides clean fibers. After scouring, the next step is sorting. In this step, the clean fibers are taken to factory where they are separated according to the texture such as length and color. The fine hairs are used to make cloths while coarse hairs are used to make rugs. There are small fluffy fibers called burrs present in the fleece. These are removed and used as burrs on sweaters. The next step in processing wool is dyeing. The fibers are dyed, that is, colored according to need. Since fibers are white, brown or black naturally, therefore other colors are used for dyeing. After dyeing, fibers are straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. This is how a woolen yarn is obtained. There are two types of fibers, longer fiber and shorter fiber. Longer fibers are used for
From the video, we learned that the processing fibers into wool, in the first step is shearing. The fleece of sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. This process is called shearing. From this step, we get the fibers of the sheep. Then the fibers are washed in tanks to remove dust, dirt and grease. This step is called scouring. The third step is sorting. In this step, the hairs of different textures are separated and sorted. Hence, this step is called sorting. The next step is removing the burr. Burrs are soft, fluffy fibers in the wool. These burrs are picked up from the hair. And the fifth step is dyeing. The natural fleece of sheep is white, brown or black. Hence, the fibers can be dyed with different colors. The sixth step is making the yarn. In this step, the wool is straightened, combed and spun into yarn. After spinning, the wool is either woven or knitted. Long fibers are made into wool for sweaters.
Occupational hazards. Occupational hazards are the risks faced by people working in any industry due to the nature of their work. Wool industry gives employment to many people in our country, but sorter's job is risky as they sometimes get infected by a bacterium, anthrax, which causes fatal blood disease called sorter's disease. Animal fibers, silk. Silk is a natural fiber which is obtained from an insect called silk moth. So silk fibers are also animal fibers. Silkworms spin the silk fibers. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. Sericulture is a very old occupation in India. India produces a lot of silk on a commercial scale. The silk thread is obtained from the cocoon of silk moth. There are varieties of silk moths which yield different types of silk yarn such as tasar silk, moga silk, kosa silk, mulberry silk, etc. The most common silk is the mulberry silk. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors.
Formation of silk fiber. Silk is very important natural fiber. It is soft, lustrous, elastic and strong. You will be surprised to hear that yarn produced by them is much stronger than a steel wire of similar thickness. More importantly, it can be colored very easily. There are different varieties of silk, of which mulberry, ari, tasar and muga silk are of commercial importance.
Mulberry silk, which is very
Most commercial silk is mulberry silk, which is very fine white fiber.
or silkworm.
Silk fibers are obtained from cocoon or silkworm. Let's understand the life of silkworm and how cocoon is formed by them. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. Let's talk about one of the egg. When the young organism growing in the egg reaches to the larva stage, it comes out of the egg. Now, the organism is known as caterpillar or also called silkworm. The silkworm feeds on the leaves of mulberry plant. When it grows and is ready to enter in the next stage of life cycle called pupa, it starts weaving a net around itself. It then swings its head from side to side, forming a shape of 8. While doing so, the silkworm secretes a protein which on exposure to air becomes hard. This is the silk fiber. Silkworm covers itself completely and enters in the next stage of its life cycle called pupa. The covering so formed is called cocoon. Inside the cocoon, the pupa grows and becomes a moth. The silk fiber is obtained from cocoon of the silkworm. The rearing of silkworm for obtaining cocoons made of
From the video, we can see that there are 4 stages in the development of silk moth. The first stage is laying of eggs. The female silk moth lays eggs on mulberry leaves. In the second stage, the eggs are hatched into very small larvae within a week. The larvae of silk moth are called caterpillar or silkworm. The silkworms feed on the leaves of mulberry tree and grow bigger in size. Stage 3, development of cocoon. The caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of his life called pupa. An adult silkworm first weaves a net to hold itself. Then it swings its head from side to side in the form of figure 8. During these movements, the head of the caterpillar secretes fiber made of a protein which hardens on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon the caterpillar covers itself completely by silk fiber. This covering is known as cocoon. The cocoon is made by caterpillar to protect its development as pupa. The silkworm continues to develop inside the cocoon to form silk moth. Stage 4. In this stage, pupa, which is encased in the cocoon, develops fully to form an adult silk moth. After the complete development, the cocoon splits up and beautiful silk moth comes out of it. This completes the life history of a silk moth. It is important to note here that in order to produce silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon is not allowed to mature into a silk moth. This is because breaking of cocoon causes damage to silk threads and this lowers the quality of silk. So to obtain good quality silk thread, as soon as cocoon is formed, developing silkworm or pupa gets killed. Some silkworms are allowed to live and mature into silk moths so that they can lay eggs to produce more silkworm. From cocoon to silk. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. The first process is rearing silkworms. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. The farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae to hatch from eggs. This is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. The larvae, called caterpillars or silkworms, eat day and night and increase enormously in size. Larvae are kept in clean bamboo trays along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillars stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. Small racks or twins may be provided in the trays to which cocoons get attached. The caterpillar or silkworm spins the cocoon inside which develops the silk moth. The next step in obtaining silk from cocoon is processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The next step is reeling the silk. The process of taking out the threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in special machines which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. This completes the chapter Fibre to Fabric.